Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Discombobulated. I am your host, Bobby Jaycox, and boy, do we have an incredible guest this week. This week, one of my favorite people, guy who has housed me more times than my own car, guy who has many, many projects coming out, a guy who I have loved for so long. He's a very sweet boy. Have we kissed? I will never say. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Kevin Casey White, everybody! Yeah! Kevin White, everybody, in his own studio. We are in Kevin White's studio.
I was just watching Simpsons on the couch in the next room, and
you should be
swing the door
up,
open and start doing the intro. Hold on,
we should.
I was not prepared.
Whoa, that's the podcast.
No,
the podcast is Discombobulated.
No, this is All right,
let's go.
Wait, hold on. Keep talking.
Okay. Oh, wait. Yeah, sorry. Okay. So, Kevin Casey White, great guy. Dick the size of Miami. Heart the size of Miami.
I just wanted to put on a hat.
Yeah, put on a hat, baby.
Put on a hat.
Now we got Kevin.
I've got this happening, and then it's when it grows out, I get like this thing going, and I'm a little I don't like how it looks.
You look
at
great.
you with all this.
Yeah, I know. I got a lot of hair.
It'd be so funny if you had my bald spot though, with all this long
this hair. I think that would be. I think it would actually be funnier if I had this length of hair with just this length back here. Just where that where you're bald. Just it pulled. How long do you think if I did do my hair like that? Like how long? I know it would be minutes, but who would like be the first person to be like, Bobby, we're gonna go cut that now? Like, do you think anyone would let me keep that if I was like, no, I really like it? Just a bun that looked like I spilled.
I apologize.
Shit on my head.
I apologize if this sounds uneducated, but don't like monks do like a thing like that?
That did sound uneducated, so we'll cut that out later. No,
okay.
Okay.
Anything that's uneducated,
okay,
just
we're gonna,
cut it.
I don't want this to get cut from YouTube. Okay, so but no, I do think that yeah, monks. I think monks are the ones that do that. Which I watched a video of a monk the other day.
Yeah.
And she was talking, and she was like being really like
lady monk.
Lady monk, yes, they're
Yeah.
allowed now, and so they at white too. I was like, there's a lot of
Whoa.
just anyone can be monks now.
Hey man, it's the 90s.
Also, can you show up could I show up like this and be like, I want to be a monk?
I want to be a fucking monk.
Yeah, and I say it like that. I go, I want to be a fucking monk, dude.
Yeah, dude.
And then, but that would be cool. But anyways, I saw this video and she was sitting there, and I was like, I kind of want to get enlightened because while she was talking, just sitting there, she would go. And she would have this huge smile on her face, and I was like, yo, she actually seems like the happiest person. Because I thought being a monk just meant that you were just like, whatever. And you just sat there and just kind of like became a tree that moved around.
You're
but
zen.
I think I didn't realize that. I think being a monk actually, as I get older, seems cool.
But maybe she was like bad at being a monk.
Yeah.
Maybe they were like, this chick fucking sucks. She keeps laughing.
Could you imagine if there's other monks that are like enlightened and they like break from enlightenment to be like, are you
Jesus fucking Greg is here. Greg sucks, dude.
Greg got enlightened last week and he won't shut the fuck up
about it. And he's got a fake British accent now.
Can you be a monk and then like come back and start doing comedy? Like, could you just like show up and like that and be like, no, I'm enlightened, but I also have a couple dick jokes. Can you be enlightened and make dick jokes?
Not to get too heady, I've been talking about something kind of parallel to this.
Well, that's why I brought it up.
In therapy a lot.
Oh, you've been talking about this in dick therapy? You've been talking about dick jokes in therapy?
I've been talking about this in dick therapy.
Dude, they go, okay, listen, you have the biggest dick we've ever seen, and it's going to be hard for you to get through life. Just whenever you get hard, you pass out. Anyways, that's a little bit too personal, and it's not true. He did cover it up. Look at this little pillow right here. He's got to cover it. Little, it's huge, actually.
Yeah, I don't want to get to whatever. It's sometimes in therapy I'll get very like existential.
Okay.
Right?
And like you guys go back and forth with it, or just you feel that way?
So we talk about like truth in comedy, for example, right? But how can there be truth in comedy when what I'm doing is reciting? How is there truth in a performance? Things like this.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll get like super heady and like I essentially overthink everything in a way like I want to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the idea. Is like you can't like how can you be zen and also a clown?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I thought about that too. So there was a book that I just like recently finished called Letting Go, and while I was like
letting go.
Depression won't have me anymore. But it does get you. But no, I thought about that as I was like listening to the book. There were so many times where you felt so good, and I was like, Well, I don't want to feel too, because I started to feel so good that I was like, well, no, I kind of want to still do comedy. Because I was like, once you get too healed, I do feel like you would be like, I'm not going to sign up tonight. Like, you know what I mean? You're like,
Oh, interesting.
I'm not, I think that it would just seem silly. I think you would enjoy
I
comedy,
agree with
but I don't
that.
think you would do it. I think you would enjoy it,
Dude,
but not do
this
it.
is my fucking jam. So this is exactly kind of what sparked all this. So I stopped performing for a couple years when I
know.
first moved
Yes,
to New York.
I feel like that conversation was the most serious conversation we've ever had.
Yeah.
Ever. And also I thought it was cool because you look at me, you go, man, thanks, because a couple people were like being weird to me, and I'm like, yeah, that's how comics are. They're like, you're not one of us anymore. Like any group, dude. Even not all firefighters are like this, but like they're like, it's a brotherhood, and then I don't do it, and they're like, I don't talk to you know what I mean? Like that's how it is. But yeah, when you quit,
well, I feel like I came back stronger than ever, right? But that's because of kind of this. I don't know. It sounds like enlightened, or it sounds corny to say that, but that's very real, right? So it's like, okay, so essentially I am doing, and I apologize for all the words that are about to come out of my mouth.
Dude, this is great.
Sorry if it sounds like a bit of an eye roll.
On my podcast for too many words coming.
How am I going?
Are you kidding me?
All right, so it's like, okay, so what are we, right? We're wounded children trying to get validation from surrogate parents, which are the audience, right?
I don't agree with that, but keep going.
Right? Think about it.
I don't agree with that, but keep going.
We want attention.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Okay. So how do you justify that when you start doing therapy and stuff and start realizing that that is a motivation?
Yes.
For such a thing. It's right. So for me, it's like, yes, you're right. You're like, oh no, if I get too healed, I might not want to sign up because then I don't need it from external places. I can get it internally. But what I landed on was like, yeah, but I still like it. I still love to do it. And then I realized that there's a difference between having a passion or a calling and having a deficit. You know what I mean? So do it from a place of like love and appreciation for the art, and not from a place of like desperation and stuff.
Right.
And I think that makes you a much better writer, performer, etc. Because now I'm writing comedy as a fan of comedy, as opposed to somebody who's like a little attention whore. Does that make sense?
Well, I was just gonna say, I think like at levels of enlightenment, it is like you're going through those levels anyways. But it's like you just said, as a comic, you'll do that thing where you just want this to be like, I just want to be funny in the validation. But then you're like, no, I just do it because I love it. And now you're at the point where you're like, well, now I kind of want to get enlightened, but you're not going to like all of a sudden just feel like you're one with the universe.
Right.
You just start to see, you get a little bit above, and I feel the same way too, where like I like to feel that like vibration stuff too. Because I realize this, I will feel very enlightened, but we were talking about this in Jersey with some of my friends. We were like, I was like, dude, I kind of have this feeling where you ever hear like, maybe this is like, this goes on forever, and sometimes we live as everybody, but then you'll see a guy on the street and you're like, not that fucking guy. Like I'm like that level of enlightened where I still have like judgment, where I'd be like, that would be really scary to like do that or live as that or whatever.
Totally.
So like, but that's part of enlightenment. So I think that what you said is good. I think when you start comedy, I mean, dude, we're booze bags. We do all these bad things. And then you're like, I'm going to cut back on certain things. And then you stop doing that thing of just hanging out at the shows and being like, I'm actually going to leave and go work on comedy at home because we're just hanging out. And I think those levels come. And then once you're like, I feel good at stand up, it's only inevitable start working on yourself, because you're trying to, like you had said, we're like all broken children, or, you know, like it's like that thing we're trying to heal. And then once it gets healed and you put that ointment on that wound, then I think you're like, okay, well now I'm not just trying to heal and then just sit here. You're like, I want to heal and continue to go down this path that like your brain is set up to do. You know, you can't, when people are like, don't have thoughts, there'll be times where you get there, but I'm like, I really can't imagine anybody, even monks, like just sitting there with, it's just silent.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That seems kind of crazy, but I do like what you said, that you like enlightenment. I think enlightenment is part of getting older.
My point is just that, like, I realized, I was like, man, I was kind of working myself into a tizzy with this stuff. And I realized that before I did comedy, I watched comedy.
Of course.
I was drawn to this not because of some sort of, impure reason. I just think it's a beautiful art form. I think making somebody laugh is powerful.
Well, it's like whenever
comedy with a capital C.
Yeah, when
you know what I mean?
Yes, whenever you see like a beautiful landscape, your eyes are just drawn to it. And I feel like that's how people are with comedy, or like something. Like, I liked music as a kid, but some people would like go sit in their room and just listen. But that's how I was with stand up. Yeah, you become a fan of it, and then you're like, I want to be in that world.
So think about how that informs other things, right? So it's like we've all had moments in our careers where maybe we've gotten like a little bitter or jealous because we didn't get the thing, and somebody else got the thing, but they're not as funny as me, so why do they have it and not me, and blah blah blah. And then I realized that like success is all how you define it, right? Like, I'm a comic.
100%.
I remember being in high school having a vision board of like a microphone against a brick wall and an I Heart NYC thing. And I was like, I just wanted to be a comic in New York.
Yes.
I actually achieved the goal.
Yes.
Any quote unquote success, like,
yes.
you know,
I
little.
thought that was bullshit when someone would win an award and say it wasn't. They're like, that wasn't the thing. I'm like, yeah, right. It probably was a little bit. You're like, once you do it, you realize that wasn't the thing. But the deeper thing is, luckily you found it, is that you're like, oh, I am a comic, and it doesn't matter where, what I did all these things, but I also found who I am, like going those things. You have to start with being kind of like a kid and like putting stickers on a wall and being like, one day I'm gonna go there, and then you do it, and like you do it, and then you think it's gonna make you perfectly happy, and it doesn't.
Nowhere on that vision board that I have like fucking, Paramount Plus or whatever the fuck dumb, Netflix. What you know what I mean? Like it doesn't. Who cares? Like there was no expectation. Like I never dreamed about like. Boy, sure it'd be cool if I could do it. Don't tell taping. But you know what I mean? So I realized
said that last night. Yes.
So I realized all these like other things you put on it. That's not the message. Was never the point. I just wanted to do comedy, and I do, and any other things that would count as like a little logo on a poster or fit inside parentheses in a bio. That's all extra. That's all icing on the cake. Yeah. I'm right where I need to be.
I said the same thing to Joe last night. I go,
it's calming, right? It feels nice,
it's
right?
It's the best. Me and Joe were sitting there and we were talking about it, and I go, remember when remember the ideas you thought of when you first wanted to do stand-up? And I go, I never was laying in my bed as a kid, just laying there one night, and I go, man, one day I'm going to host at the St. Louis Funny Bone.
Dude.
It wasn't even, you don't even know that place. You don't even know what that stuff means. You're like, I would just lay in bed and be like, I am going to become Jim Carrey one day. Yeah. You have no idea what you're going to do. And then you chase this weird thing. And then you I literally think about this. I feel bad that if you like going to a 9-to-5 and having a family, if that's the thing you love, I hope that's what you get. Cause that's what we get out. I feel like at least I get out of stand up. Like, could you imagine like, the first time you signed up for a mic, instead of doing that, being like, I think I'll do it later. And then just being a guy who like, you're like, now I'll start stand up or something like that. And it's not that that's bad, but I just feel so good that you find the thing you want to do, and you realize that all these things you thought you wanted to attain aren't the real thing. The real thing is that you're like, I'm a comedian. I like doing this.
And that I take pride in my work, that my peers don't think I'm a hack, that I am not embarrassing myself.
I actually don't care about
some
that
people have,
anymore.
but you know what I mean? Like some people have like, and you're wrong for shit. Let's just make up a scenario. It's like kind of a trope of like, oh yeah, guy's been married for a while, decides to start a garage band with his buddies, and they suck, but every Wednesday they play this bar, and somebody's like, oh man, like they kind of fucking suck. But it's like, but is he enjoying himself?
Yes.
That's what's important. Yes. And I'm happy to say that I'm a step above that, where I'm like, yeah, but I'm also like fucking good.
Yeah.
And like I can, and I'm saying that not like from an ego place. I'm saying that people tell me I'm good, and so that's what I go off of.
And you can see it in other people when if you walk into anywhere and watch someone playing music or whatever, you can tell when they are absolutely loving, like they're just loving what they're doing. And that's a weird threshold to get through, because there are times where, like you said earlier, you want something so bad and you don't really know how to say it, and you kind of you can't pretend let it go. You have to literally go, I don't care. And I literally I was like, if you tell me that you're like, you can be on stage for an hour, and you didn't even have to tell me where it was when I started stand up. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
And now there'll be times where you're like, I can't believe there's not a lot of people here.
Yeah.
And all that stuff gets in the way of being like, now I really am like just happy to do it. Like we did this show, and I won't say the comic's name because he's a friend and he's very sweet, but he was editing a video backstage and he goes, fuck! Oh, I thought that video was funnier. And I was like, bro, you are stressed.
Yeah.
And I go, and he had opened for a humongous comedian like a week before, and I was like, dude, you're in. Like it's like, don't be stressed. But that's how I was whenever I when I played sports in high school and stuff too, is I was like, we would lose and guys would be throwing their helmet. I'm like, guys, it's so cool. We're football players. Like that's kind of how, and that enjoyment is cool. And what's weird is I had someone say to me, they're like, that thing that they say since you started, they're like, dude, I really think you're about to crack. Yeah. And what's funny is that I used to be like, I think so too. And now I'm like, I do feel like that, but now I feel like I don't even. It's the. What do you mean crack? I'm like,
You crack hundreds of times.
I know.
it turns out.
Knowing everyone who's in the world, like it would be like people who play for the minor leagues are probably so happy. They're probably not like, hey man, one day you'll play for the team, the professional team. They're like, no, I know those guys, and I get to play baseball just as much as them. And yeah, it's not on TV.
Yeah. Be present.
I love it.
It's all about being present, which is why I always tell people whenever people are like, do you have any advice? Like sometimes you do a podcast and I'm like, do you have any advice for anybody interested in doing comedy? I say, just do it, because worst case scenario, you become more interesting.
Yeah.
You might not be famous or successful, quote unquote successful in a big way. You might not even be that good, but at least you have like a fun thing you like to do.
I know a lot of,
and that's really all you need to worry about.
I know a lot of comics think that they're like, no, I think it's like people be like, I think like, it should be serious. And I'm like, I think if a guy wants to sign up once a week, if someone wants to sign up, they go, once a year I do stand up or whatever. It really does. It something comes out of you. And I'm like, I'll go do an open mic with a guitar, and I'm awful at singing and playing guitar, but it's fun to do.
It's fun.
And getting something out of you. And I've had, how many people do you know that have been telling you for years, they're like, dude, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a mic soon.
Yeah.
And you're like, after a while, I heard Jeremy Essex say this one time. He goes, this guy walked away and I go, I thought that was so cool. You said that he's going to do stand up soon. And you were like, I can't wait to see you do it. He goes, dude, he's been saying that for fucking years.
Yeah.
And that's a sad thing to watch. And that's why I do think like doing something that scares anything that scares you, I think is not the point of life, but the only thing that keeps it like interesting and makes you like. Do you watch Rick and Morty by chance?
I saw the first couple seasons.
Okay, well, it's like the season finale, the last one, but whatever.
Okay.
But there's a thing called like the hole, and you jump in, and it's the scariest place ever because it shows you your like actual deepest, darkest fears.
Oh wow!
And what's scary for some people is that I feel like not facing that is actually scarier. Than like laying in bed and being like, I wonder like. If like to live your life with regret is like too scary or whatever. And now then you do comedy and then you're like, I want to fucking go to Barcelona or whatever it is. Like you want to try other things or be enlightened or anything like that. So I think that's cool that you're at that spot now, because I don't really want to.
Think of the butterfly effect that just doing comedy has had on your life. Last night we were at that super fun show, dude. And it's all because of comedy.
What was that? Was Slipknot? Who did we see last night? It was Slipknot and Taylor Swift, which was insane. Watching Taylor Swift come out and go, I push my fingers into, and she fucking.
It would be so funny if you've never once mentioned Story of the Year on this podcast. It'd be so
they're like a punk band, right?
This is the first time
I never mentioned
Gotta come clean. Yeah, dude. Yeah. So last night we saw Story of the Year in Times Square.
Yes.
So fun. Thank you again. That was such a fun hookup. It was so fun seeing you enjoy this thing that you love.
Yes, it was like watching me on the sidelines of a football game or something, and I'm like, I know the guys. You know what I mean? It was like, sick.
We like a lot of the same music and stuff, and I remember Story of the Year was like all over MTV when I was in high school, and I was like, man, I remember thinking like, man, if you told high school me if I would be backstage at a Story of the Year concert in Times Square, New York City, I'd be like, no fucking way, right? No fucking way.
No. Remember when I came here last for my birthday, like in August? I looked it up. I walked 14 miles that night, all around. Just my bones were touching. I had no cartilage. I don't know.
Wearing in Vans with no arch support.
I know, and I'm walking around pretending to kickflip. I just walk around my Vans. Dude. Whoop.
Yeah.
I say do a kickflip to myself.
Yeah.
But no, I am having a moment. I'm having like the most fun moments in year like I've ever had in my life.
That's great, man.
And it's weird to like you said, the serendipity of it. When I like you said, like if someone would tell you like, hey, you get to become a comic, I'd be like, I would, and then if they're like, hey, you also get to meet Story of the Year, but to have not only that, like to be buddies with them, and then to get to have my friends, not only get to see my favorite band, but to also not know we were going backstage was one of I never try to be. I don't ever try to be cool or anything, but I didn't want to be like, I think we're going backstage, and then we not. And then as soon as we were walking, everyone was being very grateful and cool. But as soon as we walked through the doors, we were like, there's like piping. We're going through like a kitchens and stuff.
And the opening band, we walked by the opening band, and everybody in the crowd just like, up and down. And
it was so cool. It was like all these comedians were like, let's go. And all of a sudden it just got quiet. And I heard them behind me, and they go, whoa. And that was cool for me, not in an egotistical way, just in a way, like you said, serendipitously.
Yeah, you got
that
to
I
be
was
the guy.
I felt like I brought like my version of like the Avengers together.
Has your
or
dick
whatever.
ever felt bigger?
No, it actually felt so small because I didn't even think about my dick last night.
I was thinking about it a lot.
I think I left
night.
it at the venue. I think I left it at the Palladium.
Can I ask you something? So they
Hey, make a circle pit and find that dick out there. It's
They give
real
you-
small.
So they give you like a lanyard, or in this case, like a sticker that's
Yeah.
like the size of like your hand.
Yeah.
Right. And it says like backstage pass. Right. And it's always like, all right, put that on your person. And you and I know I'm going to put it on my pocket. Because whenever I see somebody in a band do it, it's never like on their chest. It's always
it's
like
like how
down
you
here.
hold your skateboard. It's not important,
Because
but it is.
it is.
It's
Can't
not
do a mall
important,
grab.
but it is. It's
Yeah.
like if you watch a comedian do stand up the first time, they're like, "Hey, what's going on,
They're like,
guys?"
they're like doing this. Yeah, dude. Yeah. So you and I know, like, okay, like this is like what the cool guys do. Is you put it on your black skinny jeans right here by your left pocket. You know what I mean? Because you're like, it's like not a big deal.
Yes.
But you also want everyone to look, and you're just kind of walking with like your leg out a little bit.
yeah.
Like, what's that? What's that? Yeah.
I definitely
backstage pass. No
You
big deal.
definely walk
Right?
completely
Didn't you
differently
notice?
with a pass on.
You kept being like,
when you have a pass on, you walk like a different. I walked like I was a different gender last night. I think. Dude, I was literally walking like.
but you felt that too, right? You were like, I
Bro.
want everyone to see this pass right now.
Yes, I want everyone to see this pass. Like when you know how like you go by. There's times when they don't check, and I'm still like,
oh, come on, it's right here. It's right. It's just like in Wayne's World.
have you
how
seen the
they're
Warm
like,
music video? I'm Cocaine Bobby, bitch.
It's literally like in Wayne's World how they're like shoving a lanyard in
dude,
everybody's face.
It is like that.
It's literally that.
Oh, my
And then
God.
Joe was there, and he stuck it right
and
in
he
the
was
middle
like
of his
the guys
chest.
outside. They were like,
and he was
Wayne's
wearing-
World.
I know.
He's like the Bob Odenkirk when they're standing outside. They got caught. Dude, okay.
Have you had Joe on the pod?
No, he canceled last time, and we have not forgiven him since. No,
Friend of the
we're gonna have
pod.
him on. We'll have him on soon. Joe's hilarious. Dude.
I always
you have to go watch his. He's so funny. You got to watch his sketches. His sketches
So
are
funny.
incredible, dude.
so funny, but he's definitely got. So while he was waiting for us to get to the venue, he was drinking at an Applebee's in Times Square, and I was like, actually,
How early?
Joe kind of
How early?
like an hour or two. Right?
Because our friend Lizzie told him what time to be there, but we weren't sure what time we were gonna leave, and he texted me. He's like, "Hey, are you guys like close?" And we're like, "We're not even."
we haven't even left yet.
I haven't even rolled up weed.
Yeah.
yet. I was like, "What are you doing?"
But I was like, Joe kind of is a human Applebee's. That kind of suits him, you know.
Did you hear Jenny
Right?
laugh? Did you just hear
Yeah.
Jenny laugh from the other
And
room?
the next year did.
Oh, that's so funny.
Am I right though? Like it's like we're all like, yeah, do really cool music. I kept telling
Yeah, because
people
we all love Apple. Like you
I
love
kept-
Apple, but you know it's good. And then, but what's funny is he was like, we were late, and then you could tell that he was like, "Am I gonna have to get?" We heard him order like another beer. He's like, "I get another Miller
Can I
Lite."
get another? Yeah, he definitely. He's like the most like kind of. How do I put this? Like straight laced, kind of like I feel like hair parted to the side, just clean cut kind of fucking dude, right?
Yeah.
I kept telling people, I kept making the joke that he was backstage because he was Story of the Year's accountant.
Oh my god! And he was really fucking
In his
up the
Brooks
numbers
Brothers
that night, too.
pants and
oh
his.
my god!
All right, so we have to tell my favorite moment of the night.
I know. I can't wait to have Joe on because I've told many Joe
You weren't
stories on the
there.
pod, and he hasn't been on yet, which is crazy.
Oh,
yeah, you
man.
tell it for
I
sure. I
was-
just love how many times I've talked about Joe. Even Lizzie
Oh,
goes,
man.
they go, "You got to say who Joe is," and I go, "I don't give a fuck if people don't know who Joe is." I'll
One
talk about
day,
him
you'll,
right
yeah,
now.
okay. So I had met Dan before.
Yeah, in St. Louis, we met him
St.
at the
Louis,
waiting room.
the
Yeah,
lead
yeah.
singer of Story of the Year. So I was standing there, and I was like, "What's up, dude?" And it was like me and Lizzie, and I was like, "Good to see you, dude. Excited for the show tonight. How's the tour going? Blah blah blah." And Joe walks up, and he goes right to Dan, and he goes, "Hey, are you in the band?" And Dan's like, "I'm the lead singer." And then you just see like flop sweat across Joe's face.
And he also did a
His
sketch
face-
that day and had red paint on him, so he's sweating
He's
like red paint out of his
he's
ears.
like tinted pink.
Yes.
because he
He looks so flustered.
And then Joe just goes, "Oh, I'm from Kansas City." And you could see Dan just be like, "I need to get away from this guy." And he does that thing where he goes, "Cool, man. I need to go do like a sound check or like find any excuse to leave the conversation." It was the most fucking brutal interaction.
Well, the only
It's
thing
like
you
he
missed
walked up to the hottest girl in school, and then she goes, "Did you just shit your pants?" Like it just reeks of human shit.
Yeah, he goes, "Is that your breath?"
Yeah, yeah, dude.
So here's the other thing that was funny too. And what was the coolest thing to me is it really means a lot that like people see them live because their show's incredible, but it's wild to me how when people meet them, they're like, "Dude, They were the nicest,
Super nice,
sweet.
super
they were like
chill.
they have no egos. Before the show, are they taking them? At what moment did you watch themselves taking themselves seriously?
Not at all.
When they did the huddle, they don't take themselves seriously at all. And so they're backstage. So Joe says that to him, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm from." He goes, "Yeah, we're from St. Louis." He goes, "Oh, I'm from Kansas City." And Dan goes, "Cool." And then I think he walked away. And then later he said something. I don't remember what Joe said to him to get him to say this, but he was like, "Hey, what's up, man? Sorry." He goes, "Yeah, you're from Kansas City." He's like, "Yeah, I know who you are."
Yeah.
he's like, "You don't know who I am.
You don't know anything about me."
And then he goes, "Oh for 3, bro."
Yeah,
and then
dude.
as he literally tried to walk away, and Joe accidentally got in his way, he goes, "Oh, sorry." He goes, "Oh for 4."
Yeah,
and
dude.
And it became a bit. And then I told Joe, and Joe could see it immediately because he knows how it is. He was like, it's nothing but love. Everything that was there was
A
just
lot
being like
of
fun because they don't
people-
take themselves seriously at all.
I don't think a lot of people would take
They're
so
enlightened.
kindly to that.
They're so enlightened.
I don't think a lot of people would appreciate that moment happened.
I know.
You know?
Yeah. As soon as that happened, I started laughing so hard, and I was like, the night has begun. Like that was perfect.
Points to Dan for being cool and not being
Oh yeah,
all ego.
not at all. I'm not even joking. I've never seen him have an ego once. Cause fans will come up to him at if we've gone to see another show or whatever, and he's that cool to everybody, sincerely all the time. And it's cool that my favorite band is like, people are like, don't meet your heroes, and I've met a lot of them, and they're all fucking the raddest.
Has anybody not been cool?
There's been like maybe 1 or 2, but even in hindsight, I really, just like that enlightened thing you said, they were never shitty to me.
Yeah.
They were going through, I feel like they were just having whatever thing they were going through, and I happened to be in the wake of that. Which, In the Wake of Determination, is another album from Story of the Year, and it's very good. So go listen to it because they're about to have the 20-year reunion for that show.
Sponsored ad. Sponsored
no,
plug.
seriously, I cannot express how much fun it was to have everyone see them.
It was so fun.
And have that whole night was fucking crazy. The coolest thing that happened that night is at one point their guitar player Ryan comes up to me and he goes, "Dude, I know we promised you before, and they had told me before on their podcast I was going to open for them and play guitar with them on stage."
That's insane.
And then I was literally digging. I am not kidding at all. I was digging a hole, and we were listening to 105.7 The Point, and the Story of the Year was on, and they're playing the new songs. They're like, "Dude, and you're playing, and who's opening for you?" And my buddy were working. I stopped digging, and they were like, "Red Jumpsuit Apparatus," and I was like,
boo.
"That's not how you say my name." But I mean this.
Who likes Red Jumpsuit Apparatus?
I like Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
you?
You ever seen them live, bro?
No, I just know they had that one song.
Dude, they're
forever
really
ago.
good live, and they're cool.
Really?
Dudes. Yes, dude.
All right.
And so we go as soon as that happened, there was that ego thing where my heart dropped.
Yeah.
But then I also, that thing of I was in a weirder spot, and feel happier now. But even in that moment, I was like, you're gonna be friends with your favorite band and be upset that you don't get to do the thing you do all the time in front of their fans. That's great. And I literally was like, "Oh, I don't care." And I hung out with Dan. He goes, "Dude, our management booked it. We know." He goes, we will have you do it another day. And I was like, "Dude, I promise you owe me nothing." So last night, Ryan goes, "Hey, what other shows are you coming to?" And I go, "I'm coming to your last show in Chicago." He goes, "Dude, do you want to open for us?" And I go,
No.
I did.
Dude.
I did.
Yeah?
I said, I didn't say no. I go, and he literally goes, you don't have to. And I go, no. And I go, "Here's the thing, dude." And I don't believe I would bomb, but I go, "Dude, you guys are so important to me that," and I said bomb, but here's what I mean more. If someone came out to see Story of the Year like me, and I saw a comic and I did not like them, I would be bummed that happened before seeing my favorite band. But he was like, "Dude, well, you don't," he goes, "You don't have to, but you can do as much time as you want. You can do whatever." And then I was like, later, I was like, "You know what, dude?" I was like, "I'll do it." And I was going to message him today, but I was like, that's what's weird is they mean so much to me that I'm like, I don't want to, I don't know. I like being a part of it, but I never want to be like, "Hey, can I do this? Can I do this?"
You know what would be
And
cool?
it's crazy.
If they do an acoustic in-store or something and you open for that. Because then it's the kind of a setting that maybe
Well, I
stand
think
up.
what's going to be cooler is what he asked me to do, and it's going to be at a theater, and it's going to be a rock show. I think that'll be way cooler than a acoustic
I
set.
just hear that gigs like that are tough. You know what I mean?
It would be,
Whereas
but I
if you
think
shrink
that's
the
cool.
audience in the room, it might be more.
I think if they did a VIP or something like that would be cool. But right now they're not. They don't do that. They're doing huge arenas.
so
but I
you-
think I'm going to take that
so
chance.
you are going to do it.
I think I'm going to take. I'm just
Hey,
going to
dude,
risk it.
Bobcat Goldthwait used to open for Nirvana, you know?
Did he really?
Oh, yeah.
I was
he would go on the
Jim
road with
Brewer
them.
with Metallica. I never knew. That's cool.
So Bobcat used to bomb before Nirvana because their fans were like,
yes,
they didn't want anybody opening.
Which I don't
for
care
him.
about. I sincerely don't care about bombing, but ruining that night would actually fuck me up.
But here's the thing, though.
They would come off stage and be like, "Oh, Bobby hung himself in the rafters."
But here's the lore of it. It was like Bobcat would bomb every show, but right on the side of the stage every time was Kurt Cobain laughing his ass off.
Yes.
And Bobcat would just be like, I wasn't playing for the crowd, I was playing for Kurt.
Yes.
You know? He loved
yes.
watching me fight with the crowd.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So keep that in mind.
No, here's the thing. It's not it's not any not confidence or anything. It's
I know
just,
that.
It's just that how things can happen.
I mean to like shrink it of like, who are you really here for? You're here for Dan and everybody else
100%.
in the crew.
Yes.
You know?
That's what the point that I'm making is that it's not about my performance or anything like that. It's that like their thing that they've done was so important and so whatever to me that to even, and it wouldn't be a tarnish or anything, but just to not do good wouldn't hurt my feelings. It just sucks that in the tapestry of Story of the Year, there was a show that people were like, and I remember that show we went to where that comic was like, it just was weird. It wasn't bad. You know, like that's what I'm thinking, but I actually don't feel that way. I just care about them so much. I'd be like worried for that to happen. But that's a weird thing that I don't have for anything else. I have like such respect for them because dude, since I've been listening to since I was in high school and my buddy did a documentary on me when I was like a year into stand-up. He was like, hey, for college, I have to do a 5-minute thing. Can I do it?
Okay.
And he goes, how do you get ready for your shows? And he came over to my house and I'm living with my parents. I'm like fucking in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And he was like, what do you do to get ready for shows? And I was like, I'll walk you through it, but it's actually just kind of dumb. And I go, I write my jokes like into my mirror and I'll usually put like either Jackass on or Story of the Year that has this live video or they have like these like clips of them just being like idiots. And I would put that on to try to like be like, you can't do that on stage, but I want to like have that energy, as a comic.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, dude, I've listened to, I would like every time I've taken off like on an airplane to go to do stand up, I have Story of the Year in my head.
Like
they're just like, they're so important to me. So that's the only thing that I think of, but I also am past that. It's just, I feel like I keep getting cake. And at some point I'm like, am I allowed to have this much cake?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's me being grateful. It's nothing with nerves and stuff like that. But last night I was looking forward to it. Last night I laid there and I was like, I'm going to do it. And I actually did something that I've been doing more is instead of thinking about it later and putting it off, I go, okay, so it's in 11 days. And I literally last night started thinking about what my set list would look like that night.
Fun.
And I'm going to get it ready to do that. And I'm also going to show up and be free to do like whatever I want. Because like you said,
you know, it's
I like
have
to make them laugh.
It's going to have to be a lot of wrangling the crowd up top and stuff. You know, I mean, you're a loose comic too.
I've opened up for bands. Like I said, I've opened up for bands. I know. Because I know how it's going to be. That's why I know. Like it's like being in war. You're like I've been in. If you're like, it doesn't mean I'm not nervous to go into battle. You're like I've seen guys' heads get blown off.
What bands have you opened for?
My buddy's band, Inimical Drive, which was like I can't think of the venue, but it was like a bigger theater where it feels weird for stand up, but for them it's perfect.
Yeah.
My buddy's band, Space Train, or as we like to call it, Space Dwayne. And during COVID there was an outside show open for Andy in the UN, and what a fucking bomb that was.
Yeah.
The only time when I was on stage and like you could hear my gulp like in the back with, like,
you can hear how dry your mouth got.
Everyone's got masks on. I'm like oh god. You want to know the worst part too?
Yeah.
Because it was outside, it was because it was COVID and we hadn't done stand up. I think there's that thing before a show where you have your set list, you know who you are, and you have that little bit of anxiety. We start looking around, you're like, what if I climbed that? You start thinking about things you could do, and Andy and the UN, they're so fucking fun. Yeah. And I asked Andy, I was like, because I saw his piano, and he jumps on. I go, hey, if I want to, can I jump on the piano? And he was very cool. He goes, yeah. And at one point, I was standing there. I just remember looking over the piano. I was like, that's the only thing I could do to bomb harder right now is to be bombing, and then to like put my hands up and be like, sing it! Like that would be so fucking stupid, dude. Oh my god!
But you're gonna do it. That's amazing.
100%.
Y'all go to that show. Where is it? The Metro? No. Where is it?
I'll have to look
it up.
It's
Metro.
in Chicago.
It's at Chicago. I asked Dan. It's at Concord.
I've never been there. I can't wait.
Concord Music Hall. It's kind of the size of last night's venue. It's pretty big.
Nice. Yeah, last night was that venue was cool. The Starland Ballroom in Jersey last night was one of the coolest venues ever. Also, the audience was insane.
Yeah, people keep talking about how good the Jersey's show
and
is.
also from this, I've never been side stage and
Jersey
been able
has
to
a
hear the
deep-
show perfect. Yes,
There's a deep, rich history of
Yes.
like pop punk.
all the bands. Whenever I look
And
up, where like
post-punk bands.
I'll be like, "Where's a new band from?" Like Gel or like Census Fit. Like there's so many bands. I think Jimmy Eat World's like there's huge bands that come.
So
out
many
of there.
bands
Yeah.
from Jersey.
But that was the first show I think I'd ever seen in recent history. The amount of people, it was constant crowd surfing.
Awesome.
And one of the strongest security guards who you know how you'll see a guy catch someone crowd surfing and then they throw him like a pizza. Like they're just like this guy would catch people, almost kiss them on their forehead and like set them down. It was just a loving night. It was cool. It was very, very cool. But the backstage of last night at New York was the show was insane in Jersey. And the show last night was cool, but the backstage was, I mean, the amount of times last night, how many times I kept going, dude, thanks for coming, dude. This was the best night ever. Like I was just laying down last night being like,
and then
if I wake up and I'm dreaming, I'm going to be fucking pissed, dude. Like,
then we went to that bar and you arm wrestled that guy. Bobby got real machismo last night. He was trying to fight everybody. We were all like, calm down. What is with you? Swinging your dick around. You start challenging people at the bar to arm wrestling, thumb wrestling, mud wrestling, leg wrestling, WWE style, Greco-Roman wrestling, and those are all the types of wrestling.
may I tell what I believed happened actually last night?
Okay,
or do you
now
want
he's going to get all serious. Some guy came up.
I love when guys say what they think happened and then got defensive because I just asked if I could say my side.
That's not, Bobby, I'm teasing it. We all know that's not what happened. All right, here's what
That's
really
why
happened.
I asked if I could tell it. If you
At
don't want
the
to, we can live in your reality. This is your episode.
That's not my reality.
No,
At
your
the
reality is
table,
just as valid.
At the
You're so you do sound enlightened right now.
You're not, you know, because you didn't yes and me. You're being like, no, actually, we're going to do this. And I was like, oh, fine. Fine, we won't play within that bit. All right, look, what happened was we were hanging out with some everybody after the show at a bar. We were doing a little friendly, like I was arm wrestling Lizzie. I arm wrestled Joe, who kicked my ass. I arm wrestled my girlfriend, Jenny. And then some guy came over who's not a part of our group, took off his, like, button-down sweater or whatever, and was like, what's going on over here? You guys want to do this? And it's like, no, not really. You're not a part of this crew. But we did egg you on. Because we were like, actually, it would be. What if Bobby kicked his ass though? That would be pretty cool.
Yes,
and that didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. That hurts you. You're bummed that you lost to that guy a little bit. Aren't you?
Right now I just want to say what I think happened. That's the only thing I feel.
Okay.
So I had my hair in a ponytail and was basically walking around dancing like people are like, does he have too much testosterone or is he getting off of it? Like no one knows. I'm having the most fucking time of my life, and I get back to my table and it looks like you guys are watching a fucking football game. Everyone's like, ah! You guys are arm wrestling, and I sit down and someone goes arm wrestle. I literally was like, I don't know, and then you're like, no, arm wrestle Kevin. I was like, all right, let's go. So I with all due respect, beat you very fast.
Yeah,
and then I had
did.
to arm wrestle Joe, and I was like,
And
oh,
you
this will
and
be fun.
Joe were like,
Joe was great.
You two were evenly matched.
Yeah, of course. It literally went back and forth, and that was so fun. And then I guess I beat Joe, but I also don't remember because it went so back.
I think
feel
one
like
of
it
you.
was like a tie.
I think you guys were like, let's just end it.
It was just fun. Yeah, he's like drinking a beer. Like I have none of that like alpha male. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking show
I
them.
know.
So that happened, and the only reason I don't do these when you do this stuff,
It
at
was
bar,
ironic arm wrestling.
We were
being
basically
silly.
like we were in the like jungle as like chimps being like, and then all these other chimps were like, I think I sound bigger than those fucking guys.
Yeah.
So I did this, and me and Joe went back and forth for so long. I'm almost like I'm like shaking. I'm like, that was fun, but I'm tired. And then this fucking jackass named Derek.
Derek
Walks over in a cardigan, and tell me if any point you were allowed to tell me if this is not correct. He literally goes, this girl comes over and goes, wrestle Derek.
Yeah, wrestle my friend.
Yeah. And he literally goes like this. He goes, what are we doing? And gets set up for it. And I go, I love that this guy was, what are we doing? And then he literally takes off his jacket and he took off his cardigan and goes, what are we doing? And he sat down and I looked at him. I'm like, I'm going to lose.
Yeah, he was confident in a way where it's like, oh, this guy arm wrestles for fun.
And here's the part that I hate. I knew I was going to lose to
He
him.
wasn't fun with it.
Yes.
He took it seriously.
He did, and that was
sucked.
like that ruined like the whole thing. And so I was like, someone threw down 20, and then Joe took out his wallet, and I was like, I think someone from his side threw a 20, and then Joe took, and I go, no, Save your money. I'm like, right now, he'll win his 20 back. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then everyone kept throwing down money. And then I was like, I have to do this for my friends. And when we started, I you know me, I'm not playing the victim. I'm telling you what happened. I go like this, and right before we go, Jenny goes, 3, 2, 1. Why are you doing this?
I know.
And listen.
She gave you a false
Let
start.
me tell the story.
I know.
You had your time. And so listen. Fuck. So he goes like this, and while she did that, he starts doing that thing, and I don't care if I'm not like, he cheated. I'm just telling you what happened. He twists his wrist, got right here, and I wasn't going to go, hey, mister.
He locked you in.
He locked me in, and then we went for a second. I don't even remember if I got halfway, and then he just whipped my ass. I just remember looking at that money and being like, we could have all bought shots, or you know what I mean, whatever. He beat me, and then that guy... Literally, I know he went home that night and got his girlfriend pregnant. That guy was like, all right, I'll see you fucks later. And like he sat right behind me all night.
But here's the thing.
But I also didn't care. I just hated that. I hated how it happened because I would have rather made him look like a jackass because I knew I couldn't beat him physically. I knew I wasn't going to win this.
But nobody cares.
I didn't care either.
It sounds like you care.
No, the only thing I care about right now is that I was trying to tell what happened. And me and your versions were different. That's what I was trying to say. I was just saying my side.
The same version.
We
were all having fun with a little funny arm wrestling among friends, and then a guy came over who was like, "What's up?" And it's like, all right,
I was beating him for a little bit, making fun of him or whatever, but that guy was like so determined to wrestle me, and I was like, all right, let's go. And that was.
But nobody cares that you didn't beat him.
I also don't care that I didn't beat him. I thought I'm telling you. I guess I was annoyed at the situation of like
when I made a joke. I made a joke at the top of the story saying, "Yeah, Bobby was swinging his dick around last night." You hated that.
I was being sarcastically funny for
you
content.
Hated it.
I was being sarcastic for sure because I thought it would be funny for content.
I feel like you hated it and you're still hating it.
What would you like to do about that feeling you have right now?
I would like to give you a gift.
Thank you.
We have a little gift for you.
I would love to receive a gift right now.
Jenny! We have a gift for you, but Jenny needs to be here.
Can we is there a way to quickly you have another thing? Should we hook her up on the pod? She can have her own mic?
Oh yeah, do you want to get a mic?
Oh, I get a mic?
Of course you get it. Women get mics these days, I tell you what.
Wait, are you doing a video?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, go get ready. We in 30 to 40 minutes. In 30 to 40 minutes, we'll
throw
call
that
you
on.
back.
Okay,
kid.
well then give it back.
No, for real.
No,
take your time. Well, I promise. Come in whenever you're ready, baby.
I just have my nipples out.
She's wearing a shirt, by the way. Her nipples aren't out. They're like a little out. It's a shirt.
I tell
but
my
the holes
version?
are yeah.
I hated that her nipples were out.
Yeah. It's very disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we hook her up with can you get a...
Do you have another one of these, or should I grab one of these guys?
I was thinking if you have another mic. I don't have any more. These are all the mics and cables I brought to New York City.
Hold that and just, tell us what your next stop is.
My next stop is Philadelphia as soon as we are done with this podcast. And then I got shows back in St. Louis, Missouri, and you can check it out on kevincasey.white.com. All my dates are on.
Plug my special coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin
229.
Kevin has a special coming out 229.
Leap day?
Leap fucking day, dude.
Rules.
And I was a part of being was that your last show of your tour?
No, that's not what we wound up using. That show is not good.
Can I tell you my version of what we recorded? Do this.
Yes.
Yes.
It's called Harangue.
It's called Harangue. I love that name, by the way.
It'll be out
I think me and you do a thing that like some people care like only about the stuff, like the content they create. I do think a little too much about like the artwork or like a name or something silly. But where did the name Harangue come from?
Do you know Zach Peterson?
Yeah, dude.
I was in LA with Zach Peterson. We were on the road, and we were grabbing lunch with like a bunch of comics. And I was doing that. You know when you're like doing that thing where you're like purposely being like annoying and you're like in your buddy's face or whatever, blah blah blah, trying to be like, oh okay, well I made a joke about what I was doing, like that kind of thing at him.
Yeah.
And Zach goes, stop haranguing him. And I was like, I don't know, what does that mean? And I Googled it. And it means to like a oh, here, give me my phone. I'll tell you right now.
Harangue.
Who rang?
Who rang?
Do you edit this?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry for the dead air.
No, the whole
here's-
the whole podcast is that everything.
here's
Can you
the-
give me a
here's-
test real quick.
Yes.
Test. Talk
Test,
a little bit
test.
more.
The cat jumped over the fence, but the fence was made of fire.
Nice.
Do you talk on the front or the top of it?
I don't know.
Talk to the front.
Oh yeah. I have to talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hers is a little quieter than ours.
What about now?
Can you fix this?
Heyo. Oh.
Quick audio thing. Maybe we'll edit this, but probably fucking not because it's actually harder than you
Audio
think.
thing.
But you got to check out harangue. We're about to learn out what the definition of it is once again, once we get settled back in. And you can skip forward, but this episode is brought to you again once by BetterHelp and Stamps.com. You better help me get fucking stamps because I'm poor. This is also brought to you by, what's that new blue chew? Yeah, plug it.
I can test my audio.
Yes.
Okay, this episode is brought to you by veterinarian
these.
services. For
What the hell?
I don't know. I thought we were just randomly naming.
I don't know.
businesses.
Well,
I
you
can't-
better- yeah, you,
I
maybe
can't
have
get
to,
it.
you guys might have to share.
Let's just share a mic.
Okay.
We're just
Great.
gonna share a mic.
Okay.
Whatever.
So sorry. To harangue. Tell me more about harangue.
To lecture someone at length in an aggressive and critical manner. And I just thought, well, that's hilarious. That's a really funny word.
Yeah.
What is comedy if not that? So that's why I called it that. Okay, good job vamping, everybody. Here we
Yes.
go. Gang, this is Jenny Agartwa.
Hi.
She owns a board game company.
It's called Pillbox Games.
Do you like games?
You should get my games. I have a game called Side Effects. It's a game about mental disorders where you get an array of mental disorders ranging from anxiety. You have never played from
You
anxiety?
never played our game? Dude.
No.
Here's my pitch. Like anxiety, depression, and madness, and you have to be the first to treat yourself with drugs and therapy. First person to treat themselves wins. It's only $25, and if you use promo code PROMOCHODE, you get $4.69 off.
Can I tell you, I do promo codes and
Hell
it's-
yeah.
type in any curse word for like 10% off.
Oh.
Any curse word you could think of. And people, yeah, that's why I love that. I love that. We have to talk about our strip club idea tonight. Right
Ooh.
now, by the way. Okay, let's just pitch that.
Go.
Let Jenny do it. She's
Well,
definitely
I
our
don't
front man.
I don't really remember. Okay,
We're
so
talking about Chippendales.
Chippendales, right?
Because my idea, though, I'll tell you, I had the idea. I go, I feel like there's girls who'll be like, I don't want to go see just girls,
Right.
and then or whatever. I'm like,
We could
you
get boys
we
and
should we have a
girls.
way where there's both, because also people are more curious these days than ever.
Of course. So we call it fish and chips.
Why do we call it fish and chips, Jenny?
Well, because there's chips for the Chippendales, and then fish, and then also
Wait, fish for what?
for the girls, and then also on the way out.
For the girl.
On the way out, we give you a goldfish.
Why would you get a
Wait, you get a
goldfish?
Yeah, on the way out.
That was where she lost me, but listen to this. You know that new idea you were looking for? Well, listen to this.
I don't remember the rest.
You don't?
No.
They give
Oh.
you don't remember why you get a goldfish?
No. I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Wait,
it,
is it the,
it was
ping pong
literally the
balls?
genius idea. No.
Yeah, why?
When you leave, you get a goldfish.
Yeah.
And I go, I
Oh,
asked,
right. Why? Yeah, because then you can go home and like give it to your kid and just be like, I got you a goldfish.
yes, like where were
So
you?
you have
Like,
an
I was
alibi.
getting you a gold. It's an
Yeah,
it's an
it's an
alibi
alibi.
goldfish.
Yeah,
and I was like,
I
I've
went to
never
that-
heard of a strip club that takes care of you.
It's at that, sorry, I was at the pet store till 3
The best
a.m.
that strip club does now is whenever you get like your receipt, it's like Danny's Hotel. And like but we got what we do is actually cooler, and then you get a beta fish.
It's the best damn pet shop in
The
town.
alpha male leaves with a beta fish, and I love that.
And it's gorgeous.
Yes.
It's a gorgeous fish.
It is.
You don't even realize that's the Simpsons thing.
What is?
The pet store. So
We're the pets whore.
They did an episode where there's prohibition, and the Moe's Tavern got turned into a pet shop. So when the cops come in, they pull a lever, and it becomes a pet store. And the police commissioner comes in, and he's like, "What kind of pet store has people gallivanting around at all hours of the night?" And they just Homer's just like, "The best damn pet shop in town. That's what won." You know,
I'm learning about.
Jenny's getting into the Simpsons.
Oh, is he making you watch his favorite thing?
No, she wants to watch it.
Yeah.
Because you want him to love you, or because you like it?
I want to.
I've never made you watch an episode of
I
The Simpsons.
want to. I want to do it. No,
Because I do. I'm telling you, I do that too. Where I'm like, hey, have you ever seen this thing? And
Yeah.
I'll like, if you watch them watch it, it's too intense. You just have to let someone find it. But The Simpsons is great.
There is a Simpsons trivia night, and I'm training for that. Like I feel like by having like this goal,
Do you do trivia? You guys do trivia
No.
nights?
don't understand how intense the trivia is.
I'm gonna get one question.
Simpsons trivia is going to be like, what's the license plate of Sideshow Bob's car from this one episode? Like
4YK739.
You're
that was
right.
Pretty good, actually. That was actually pretty good.
That was actually a right answer.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I hate. I'll be honest. I don't not like certain things. I think trivia nights are cool, but they give me I feel like I'm taking the ACT, dude, and they're really hard.
They're too intense.
And I'll get every time we do it, I get one the entire game. No, even if I don't even think I could do that quick enough.
I can't type that fast, and you're trying to like do it under the table.
Yeah.
It's so shady. All right, so look, we got a gift for you
For
that
me?
we got like 2 years ago. How long has this been sitting?
Like over a year, we went to Colombia.
Heard of it?
Colombia.
And we were
University.
walking around and we found these artisans.
We were in Medellin. Okay.
We were in Medellin.
And we saw these beautiful tapestries.
Gorgeous. And we like looked at one and we were like, Bobby.
Bobby needs. Who can we give this to? And we said, Bobby.
So Bobby, if you could reach.
It's right over. See this? It actually has your address on it because we were gonna mail it to you.
Let's not show that because I got a couple people that want to know where the fuck I live.
Can I have a piece of gum?
I actually don't. Yeah, you can have a piece of gum.
Thanks, homie. Now let him rip it.
Yeah, I'm gonna rip it.
I don't want him to cut the tapestry.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited for you to have this, dude.
They did confirm it was one of a kind. So I don't think.
Go. Oh, do you have more of those? And they go, no.
One of a kind. So
This is a one of a kind.
one of a kind tapestry. No one's ever.
Which I honestly find hard to believe.
But that's what they said, and I trust the people of Colombia.
If you made something this beautiful.
This actually, I'm so weak. I'm
No, you
so
got
tired
it.
from arm wrestling.
Yeah. Come on, Bobby. Bobby.
Is it the
Bobby.
biggest cushion I've ever seen? I will lose my mind.
What is that? Oh, was there a card in there too? I forgot about this.
Is this a Georgia O'Keeffe?
Yes.
What is that? Did we give him a card?
We were going to send this anonymously.
Can I read
We
this
were
out?
gonna.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right.
We were gonna send this anonymously
May I
to
read
you.
this? Okay. So it's a beautiful card, and I'm going to open it up. T equals HC squared. Love it. Who's the Einstein now, asshole?
If you just got that and no return address, how fun would that be?
That's what we were gonna do, but we were too lazy.
Wait, that's not even the tap. That's not even the gift.
This isn't the tapestry?
T
No,
equals
look what's in your
HC squared.
Hand. Look
Ever
what's in your
thought-
lap.
Ever thought of that?
Will you open it up for the camera?
Yes. The only way I know how. Is it going to be right side up?
I don't know.
Here we go.
This feels good. That's right.
What? Oh, dude. Is this Einstein as a more badass? Does he have Jinkos on, dude? Are you serious? So if this is also only audio sometimes, so I'll explain what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Albert Einstein, all know and love, wearing what looks like a stinky hoodie and holding what I can only describe as the gun that the guy tries to kill the raptors in with Jurassic. He's like, clever girl. He's holding that gun. And he does look like he's wearing pants that he also found on the street. And it says LA on the top. And I've never seen something that I love more. I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know.
Probably doesn't remember.
Yeah. I don't
like
remember.
It's like a Cholo Einstein.
Yeah.
He's so handsome.
That is, guys, I am so.
Pretty cool, huh?
I'm going to love the shit out of that for the rest of my life.
Hang that up, man. That's
I'm
a
gonna
beautiful work of art.
It really fucking is. You
And
got
it's
that
all
in
fuzzy?
Colombia?
It's
Yeah,
all
dude.
fuzzy?
It is fuzzy. It
One
is
of a
nice. This is the only one in the
Only
world.
one.
Oh my, dude, this means the world to me.
That's
guys.
insane, right? Is that not the
Yes.
most insane thing you've ever seen?
Yes, dude, this is crazy. What is at the top? It looks like it looks like he broke through a fence
Yeah, he
too.
busted through a
It looks like
fence.
he shot the gun and then walked through the fence and someone took his photo. This rules. This can't be on the ground. Has to be up here.
Women love art. They like
Yeah, hang that up.
art.
I know. I know. They love art, and I am the guy who, when you come to my house, I have art on my wall that I made.
Do you think that'll
It
match
sucks.
your motif?
Yeah, it kind of matches who I am. I think I might actually on the way home hang it in my rear view, like in like the back of my car. Or you remember those kids when you were like where we grew up? There was always kids that had, instead of like blinds, they would just have an ICP blanket in their
Yeah,
window.
dude.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put that in my window.
Also, you sleep in your car sometimes. You travel with stuff in your car.
Yes.
I think if you drape that over your belongings, no one will break into the car.
If anything, they'll watch out for me.
Yeah, they'll be so awestruck
No,
by the beauty.
That
of
means
it.
a lot. Thank you guys. I love you. You guys are nothing but sweet to me. I love
Buddy.
you guys.
Let's all touch.
Let's all look at each other with just eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You look at this eye, and I'll look at this eye. Three-way looking just for 4
Three-way
seconds.
looking.
You guys are doing too much with your face.
I
Just
can't.
eyes.
Yeah, that feels good. That feels right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
I love that. Well, dude, thank you so much. I want to talk more before we get out of here. I do want to talk more about Harangue and your what you like. When is everything coming out, and how is it getting released? Where can we find it?
Okay, thank you for having me. Promo code
You're not
promo
staying?
toad. No.
Bye, Jenny. Thank you for my gift. I love it so much.
No, but who cares about this comedy special? Who gives a shit?
You do.
I just said that to Vamp.
You sound so.
Look at how comfy
I'm so enlightened.
Look at me.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck about anything.
You better be careful. I have a
anymore.
foot fetish, and I'll put those in my fucking mouth.
So you can check it out. It'll be on 800 Pound Gorilla, February 29th, all over YouTube and Tubi and
Is it gonna be on Tubi?
American Airlines video. I don't know. It's coming out on some airline though.
Is it really?
I think so.
That is cool.
Which is kind of funny.
You got to let me know which one it is because I definitely want to.
Yeah, I'll have
watch
to
it
double
on a
check
plane.
where it's coming out. But YouTube's where you hit all the streams, baby.
Yeah,
check that out.
So make sure you check it out and listen to his podcast, Close Calls.
Yeah, dude,
hilarious. We had a great
You were
episode
just
yesterday.
on it.
So much fucking fun. Whenever you look up stories, how many do you have to go through before you find one that is like actually worth like your guys' like time and effort?
I typically am a little more discerning, and as we found out, yes. So the show is about near-death experiences, right? So we'll tell a story about somebody who got like marooned at sea, lost in the Amazon, survived a plane crash, sometimes more dark things like survived a kidnapping or a serial killer, things like that. So typically I'm trying to find a perfect blend of like it being crazy enough we can like talk about it in an interesting and funny way. But also the key element is that they survived. And the episode we did kind of broke the rule because I was like, I'm not researching another episode. I got all the way to the end, and the guy actually did fucking die. But it was
a great story.
But it was like a funny story. I was like, it was 1 a.m. I'm not research. But yeah, typically I have to like vet maybe like, I don't know, like 5 before I find a good one.
Yeah.
So it can be kind of time consuming. It's definitely like a homework show.
For sure. And then, but it's cool. You guys have people. You'll have people write in and like, do they ever send you stuff that they'll be like, I found a story for you?
Yeah, dude, all the
cool.
time. Our fan base is really great. They're really active, and they're like a part of our little community. So people can like write in or call in with their own near-death experiences, and we've had some people share some like insane stories. We've also just had people be like, I was in a fender bender and it was really scary.
Yeah.
That's okay, because the big common denominator is we're all going through it.
Yeah.
No story is too small. You know what I mean? So, yeah. People are very active, though. We'll get sent links all the time about, things that they want to hear us kind of make fun of. It's a lot of making fun of people because it's kind of like, you know what it's kind of like? It's kind of like a true crime podcast, like about a murder. Except since there's no murder, then we can kind of make fun of people for having like a bad day.
Yeah, you can't be like, what an idiot, they died. Yeah, they're like, yeah, what an idiot, they almost died.
Yeah.
That's way cooler.
It's like he used up all his, like we just did a story where like this guy, he was like in, he was like in the Himalayas. They were like on like a hunting trip and blah, blah, blah. And he kept like, he had like a satellite phone just in case anything happened. But his buddy, who wasn't as like survivally, it'd be like if you and I got stuck and you were like, dude, let me use your phone. And so the phone fucking died before they could like actually call for help because the guy kept calling his wife because he kept being like fucking ball and chain, like that kind of shit. It's like that kind of thing. And the whole trip, they're just like, God damn it, Derek, we don't have a fucking phone now because of you. So we can like make fun of those people and shit.
Fuck
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool.
It's fun.
What's like the thing that you're like looking forward to, whether it's creatively or like a trip or something? Do you have things that you're like pumped for that are coming up?
I'm excited for the special to come out because it's kind of been a long time coming.
Yeah,
we shot it over a year ago.
Yeah, does that process is, and it's not to get like whatever, but I think people think that musician, comic, or whatever, you have this thing of like once you're in it, it's like a river, it just flows. But it is, you put this thing out and then you're like, we did it. Oh fuck, no, we didn't. Now we have to edit it and do all this stuff.
Yes.
And there's so much other stuff that it's cool, but it's time consuming and everything.
It's
just
crazy.
different.
So I remember I was working my last restaurant job and I was so fucking miserable and I was like upset that I didn't have like a deal. I didn't have anything on the horizon and I was like, I'm going to shoot a special. And I wrote on a piece of paper, it was like November or December. So I was like, next year, I wrote Kevin White's recording a special next year.
Yes.
And I put that in my pocket.
Yep.
And then I was like, and I remember at that same shift, I was like, no, wait a second. That's not going to do anything. And I pulled the piece of paper out and I looked at it and I pulled out my phone in the middle of my shift and I emailed a club that I remembered I had a lot of fun at a couple years before.
What club?
Comedy Corner Underground.
Oh yeah, I
Minneapolis.
swear to God, that's what I was wondering. That place rules.
I love that room.
I've never performed there. I just go watch show. Dude, it's awesome.
Yes, dude, hit me up.
No,
or
I'm just,
I'll introduce you. And
but it's just that place is rules. That's such a you club. That's such a.
It felt like
you.
It's small and it's like intimate.
Like punk. Yeah, it's punk rock fun.
It's got like old posters all over the walls, and the guy
it's like the best version, like the alt at its. How it's it's perfect.
And the guy that runs it's just like a labor of love for him. He just loves comedy, and he's always been like good to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna email him right now.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting, I was like, I'm gonna do it right now. And I sent the email right then. And then like I remember like an hour later, he was like, Kevin, I'd love to have you shoot a special here. Of course. Now we're in motion. He gave me a date on the spot.
Yes.
Now I have a date.
Yes.
Now I have to build the plane as I'm flying it.
Yes.
And then it was like, okay, well, if I'm going to do that, I don't want to just show up and just hope for the best. I'm going to give myself like a month-long run-up of perfecting what will be the act.
Yeah.
So I booked a tour for a month on all the dates leading up to it. So now I've got a tour and a special taping. And now I got to get somebody to film it. Now I got to get somebody to do sound. And now I've got a crew. You know what I mean? And it's like now this thing's like big.
Yeah.
Now there's like all these moving
and something
parts.
that you've never done. You don't do that as you do comedy. Is pull that all together.
That's what I'm saying. Some people do a comedy special and they're like shoot it on their phone and be like, oh, it kind of sucked. I'll never put it out. And I was like, I can't do that. I need stakes.
So you're not only like trying to fly up. You're like literally like doing the thing you've done and adding components you've never worked with. And that's it's a labor. It's a labor process. Yeah,
dude, it changed my life. Just setting like a big goal for like.
Yes,
it was so great.
Yeah.
But when it got done, I was like, man, I'm exhausted. And I remember, I think it was Rojo Perez goes, you're only 51% of the way there, baby. Don't stop now. And I was like, oh my God, you're right.
Yep.
6 months of editing.
Yep.
And then I put together like a little press kit. And then I started shopping it around. And then I wasn't happy because I always wanted 800-pound gorilla, but they weren't like super, like I couldn't like break through at first. Going back now, I would probably put together a press kit while it's being edited, save some time. I'd probably start reaching out to people before it's done, save some time. But I did like everything one step at a time.
Yeah.
So, you know, future Bobby, you can do two things at once. Kind of like when you're cooking. If you're like, this is like my analogy is like if you're going to cook for a dinner party, you don't wait till the pasta's done before you start making the sauce. You do them in tandem. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But yeah, so it's just been a very long time coming. So I'm very excited for that to come out.
Dude. Yeah.
And the podcast, dude, we're trying to bring on like a producer and blow that up and stuff. And I want to and I'm trying to tour more. I haven't done comedy festivals in years. Yeah. I've decided I want to start doing festivals again.
And they are every like all the ones that I've either done or you're going through town or whatever. Like, it like comedy is in like a amazing state right now where like a festival really is filled of energy.
Yeah.
It's not just like you said. It feels like everyone's happy to be there. Not just like I'm here because I heard this guy's going to be here and might see me and stuff.
Well, I noticed like touring around, a lot of it is like, hey, dude, I'm rolling through, wherever, fucking Des Moines, and I just want to know if you're doing shows or whatever, of any rooms. A lot of my old contacts have kind of dried up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I realized, great way to meet people, festivals, because it's people coming from all over the country to come to one place. So it's like, great. So I'm going to go to these festivals, I'm going to meet new people, and then I'm going to go to their towns.
Yeah.
And I just want to get back in the groove.
And it's like whenever when you go to a festival or another city or whatever, as a comic, it's almost like seeing all these different cultures because you'll see this guy's from Minneapolis and like different places do it a little different and there's unique people in that, but like you'll see people that you're like, there's some guy from Ohio and you're like, dude, you fucking I've never seen that before.
Yeah, dude.
And that will inspire you as like a person to be like, it just makes it feel endless of like all the possibilities you can do. Because even with music, there's some rules, but with comedy, you breaking the rules is more like almost more preferred or whatever. So I feel like that's fun. But I'm glad that you like that thing that you said of setting a goal when you're younger. For some reason, they teach you that it is first to write it down and do that, and it's not bad. It really for years it does work, and it's that slow process to put something on your refrigerator like I eat healthy every day. But it's so wild when you just decide to do it and actually email those people. I did the same thing one night. I had an awful day.
Put yourself in a position where you have to rise to the occasion.
That's exactly, yeah. So I had this moment where I was sitting there and I had a terrible day. Someone I love very much, a family member, like broke my heart. Like it was just life or whatever. And I remember I went outside and I was just sitting there, and I was like, why am I going to sit here and be sad?
Yeah.
I feel very fortunate for all this stuff. And I've always wanted to write for the Hard Times News.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do that. And I did what you did. I literally wrote in my phone, tomorrow, submit to the Hard Times News.
Yeah.
And then I walked inside and was like, that's such a very beginner thing to do.
Yeah.
And I sat down, went to their website, filled out the form. They asked for like 5 jokes. So that night I wrote 8 to 10. Went to bed to make sure that when I woke up with fresh eyes, I still liked them. Submitted it, forgot about it.
Great.
A week later, they were like, "Hey, you can come aboard." And then I had got something something published. And it was like you said, it was that thing where I was like, "Oh, just do it." Because sometimes you get caught in that world where like, "Hey, I'm going to do a special." So then you start talking to your friends, like, "Hey, man, I'm going to do a special," and then it almost seems like it exists because you're telling everyone it does.
Yes.
But then doing the actual work, that's the real thing. So I'm glad that that's the best place to be as a comic.
They say that they've done studies on this, that if you tell somebody, "Oh, I'm working on a novel," and people go, "Good job,"
It's done.
that gives you
done.
enough dopamine to feel like it's done.
Yes. Yep.
And then you stop trying.
Yeah. This past year is the first time, because for some reason I would check in with my friends because like I liked that when you start, that's all you do because you're like kind of lost. So you're like sharing equipment almost. You're like, "Hey, this tag or whatever." But then once you start doing it yourself, you're like, I should help out myself. And I remember the same thing with the podcast. I talked to a couple people about wanting to do it, people that I knew. But then I was like going to ask them like, "Hey, what do you think about the name?" This, and I'm like, "Why don't you just do it?"
Just fucking do
and
it.
it was nothing has ever hit the ground running faster because I didn't worry about all the little components and stuff
Yeah,
like
man.
that. And that is the like
Do it while you're still excited about it.
do it while you're still excited about it because you think that excitement you have later you can throw into the future, but it's like how you say you're going to fold laundry once you wake up in the morning. You're
Yeah.
like, you're not going to do that.
Yep.
And so and it's the work actually it does become fun too. So once you get used to it more,
Don't put
you
off-
just realize that this is just what I do. I don't have to like be like this is a goal. You're like then the Atomic Habits thing we were talking about. Just start doing those things.
Don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. Right?
100%, dude.
I actually
Absolutely.
saw this. This is adjacent. I saw this thing today. It's like the rock. It was called like the rock climbers parable or whatever. And it's like these two friends, these two guys, like go see a documentary about rock climbing, and they leave the theater and they're like, "Wow, that looks cool, man. I want to get into rock climbing." Right? There's two guys. Guy number one goes to a rock climbing gym, signs up. He starts bouldering. He realizes, oh, this is like kind of harder than it looks. You know, I got to put a little time into this. And he's getting a little bit better. And then he's got like the shitty like rental shoes and like the rental harness and like the, you know what I mean? Like the crappy rope that's been used a million times. And after a while, he's like talking to like one of the other guys at the gym and he's like, "Oh, man, my shoes like rub my foot, like the left side of my foot, like I keep getting blisters." And that guy's like, "Oh yeah, these ones actually are in the second shelf. These like are a little wider. I used to have that same problem. You should get those. Those will help." And that's how he bought his first pair of rock climbing shoes that were his. Same thing with the harness. Oh, it's like a little looser on the waist, a little tight in the crotch. It kind of sucks. So he bought his, he buys his own harness, buys his own rope. Gets his own chalk bag eventually as he keeps progressing. Then he goes out with some people that he met at the gym. Now they're bouldering out in nature. Now he's like in like rougher terrain. Now it's go back. Guy number two, he's like, "Yeah, man, I want to get into rock climbing. That looks cool." Goes on Amazon, finds rock climbing shoes, starts comparing brands, looking at reviews, starts like looking at the people, their other reviews, being okay, can I trust this guy's opinion? Okay, he settles on that, and then he buys like the really like nice, most expensive harness, and he buys like a ton of rope and chalk bag and blah blah blah, and all this stuff gets shipped to his house, and it just winds up sitting in his closet, and he never goes out.
Of course,
because for some people, to be a rock climber is just buying a bunch of shit.
Yes. Just like guys, you
know what I mean?
go to a guy's house and he has a wall of guitars, and they're like, "Are you in a band?" He's like, "Not really." You're like, "What are you doing?
Yeah, man.
Why wouldn't you just have one and be in a band instead of that?" But liking the idea of it. That's I think that is like
you can't equip yourself well enough to actually be a rock climber.
100%.
You need to climb rock to be a rock climber.
Yes, that's to that thing we said earlier about people like wanting to sign up for a mic. I'm like, you should do it because everyone wants to do well, and I'm like, that's why you do it, to learn how to fail and then to not do it the next time or whatever too. But that is the most fun thing. And once you once you like start sitting in that, I feel like then you realize that you're like, oh, this is just something I do. Like instead of like, I think when I started stand up, there would be a time you'd get home from work and you're like, I guess I sit down and write in a book. And I did the same thing. I'd be like, what's the best notebook? What's the most expensive notebook? What's the best pen?
Yeah.
I'm literally doing that. I'm literally getting the best pen. And you realize that you forgot that pen at home, that you get one at the comedy club, and then you're like, I like this one. It's shitty, but it says the name of the club on there.
That was a fun weekend.
That was a fun weekend.
I have a purple pen from Helium in Philly because I just had a fun weekend.
Yeah. And to take that parable that you were saying even farther, that guy that has the stuff in the closet, one day he will try to be like, I am going to put it on. And it's weird that when he looks up, the guys who could have started at the same time, the one guy is wondering how he's going to get to the top of the mountain. And the other guy can't even believe that guy's up on that fucking ledge. And it's like, it keeps going. Because last night we were talking about this with some comics. When you start comedy, you think you have the idea of it. And then you're like, oh, it's like a building process. You start hosting, you feature, you headline. But then when you do that, the goal is you headline comedy clubs. That's not even the end. Then you're like, oh man, now how do I sell out? It's like that never ends. So if you don't find the love for it, you're always going to be chasing that thing. And instead of chasing it, just chase it like internally and actually do the work. I woke up the other morning with so much anxiety from real life shit, going to our regular jobs and everything. And I just went outside and recorded my podcast. And this feeling that I had in my stomach just went away because I was like, oh, I woke up and did the thing that regulates my nervous system. The thing that makes most people so nervous to do is what like energizes us. And it's like, at least we have that outlet instead of just always passing comedy clubs being like, it would be so cool to do that. Like, because you did that that's what you do when you do an open mic. You can write on your phone or whatever. I love that Judy Carter book, The Comedy Bible, because in there it says you can't keep reading this book. Write down a date and do stand up.
That's what I did the first time I did it. I said 3 months from now I'm getting on stage. Or no, I said I remember I was 18 and I said I need to do it before I turn 19.
What did you do?
And I waited till the last minute.
I
remember it was like 2 weeks before my 19th birthday because I was like, I can't let myself down. Like
you started when you were 19 too?
Basically,
That dude, I did the same thing. I also signed up when I was 18. You had to sign up on MySpace at the Funny Bone. I didn't have one, so I had to use my friend Kim's, and I was like, I'm not Kim. I would like to do it, and I made the list. And that night I was hanging out with Briggs, and I was writing jokes, and I was like, hey, can we set up a camera? I need to see myself. I had never been more nervous in my life. I was like, dude, I can't stop sweating. I go, I'm not going. And I just didn't go. That feeling, I don't do that. I don't come up to a thing and not even I'll fail, but I usually don't not try. That was weird. And I got the place I worked at,
scariest thing I've ever done,
the Judy Carter book. And then once it did that, I'm so glad I did it that night, because I remember I went on stage and I'm sure I did not do great, but I remember I getting any amount of laughs the first time you go up is like, you feel like you're just like you're like, thank you, like you feel so good.
Dude.
And I remember I went home that night with this girl that I was dating, like right out of high school. I'm 19 years old. And I remember I went back, we went to her parents, and we're laying in her bed. And I remember staring at the ceiling, feeling like I found my muse. I can't explain how happy you are when you do the thing you love. And I remember, I'll never forget, she goes, did you get that out of your system? And I was like,
God.
The system just became fucking sentient. What are you talking about? Like, this is what I'm going to do.
You're like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And facing your fears is something that you got. I can't recommend.
What's she doing now?
I don't know.
Nothing. She's doing nothing.
She might be doing.
something, and I hope she did find something that brings her joy. And I'm sorry she was rude to you.
Wouldn't it be crazy if we looked it up and she's actually killing it in stand up? That would have make me jealous. I'd be like, oh my god, she didn't. But she was also the first.
Why would you be a fucking hater at your boyfriend like that? That's insane.
She's
that
some
sucks.
People are weird. Yeah, she was very weird. But that is something that as another thing that you have with Jenny is cool. Is having a partnership and being creative is cool, because everyone knows something, guy, girl, whatever, they have a partner that will siphon the energy that person wants to spend on their art, because they're like, I have to have someone by me.
Yes.
And me and Jenny have talked, we'll just be talking and talk about
with,
you.
with my ex, dude. I fucking hate it. It's one of the reasons I stopped performing for so long.
And that's something that, like I said, you and Jenny have that, where we'll be out talking and we'll just start talking about you as you, but then also about like, oh yeah, like just things that you're doing, and it's cool hearing her be excited and know what you're talking about, like where you're going.
I don't know if she's listening, but I think she'll be glad that I shared this. So I like a month before I met Jenny, I was like, man, I wish I could find somebody like this, and I made like a list of things, and at the top of the list was, I want somebody who's an active participant in my life.
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
And I remember when we started dating, she came out to Wacky Shack, and she wasn't.
Well, dude, that show rules.
She wasn't clinging.
Gotta come out.
You were there,
Yeah.
actually, and she wasn't like clinging to my arm.
No.
She was more than happy to go around and meet people. And I remember thinking, "Oh my God, this girl isn't going to be Kevin's girlfriend to these people
because we don't want that. I
she's gonna be
don't want that.
She's gonna be Jenny.
She's gonna be Jenny.
And I remember
dude.
being like, I'm gonna
Yes.
date the fuck out of this girl.
Absolutely, because we've talked about this before. It's so fun when you meet a person, whatever, like that. Yeah, that you guys are out. I don't want someone who's like on my arm. That's like I'm here with Bobby. I'm like, no, be yourself.
Yes.
100% be yourself. And yeah, Jenny definitely has that. I remember meeting her that night. And yeah, I remember that
Showed
night.
you a picture of her ass.
No, yes, but the thing I also remember about that night is while that was happening, he brought it up. That was what happened. And so while we were sitting there, I had never seen Kevin do this. I watched him look over at like what she was doing, and I was like, "Oh, Kevin likes this girl." And I remember watching you guys talk, and she had the same energy that Kevin had, and that was cool to see. Because I'm not lying, you've dated girls that I have like, this girl's cool, we all have fun or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've never met someone like Jenny that like. Do you remember when we thought we were in St. Louis, and Jenny is so fun that she talked me into breaking and entering into what I thought was an apartment, and
we
later,
were staying at an Airbnb, but we didn't let them know. We were hanging out. The Airbnb just so happened to be across the street from this bar we were hanging out at, and it was like, wouldn't it be so funny if I like broke in there? We got you to do it.
Yes. You got me to do it because here's what happened. I swear to God, Jenny goes, that's what's cool is that like, because I want to tell the story or two about when we went to the City Museum, but because Kevin's like this too. And that's why I like that you and Jenny both have this vibe. It's not just Jenny being like, it's cool, he does this. Jenny goes, I don't remember how she brought it up. She was like, I'm going to go into that door. Like she said it. And we were like, yeah. And she crosses the street. I thought she was going to like jiggle the handle. She opens the door and goes inside, and I felt like we were robbing a bank. I was like, Jenny, get out of there. She was in there like she went into a fire to save an animal. Like she was gone for too long. And all the comics were all like, we're pretty cool. We were like, oh
Jenny!
no.
Yeah.
And then she comes out, and we were like, oh my God. And then she goes, wait, I forgot something. What goes back in? A car pulls up and gets out. And I'm like,
yeah,
Jenny's going to get murdered.
And this dude looked like a cop or something. He had a vibe about him that you were like, this is not the guy you want to catch you in his apartment.
Yes.
He was scary.
It was scary. And then so he passes it, and we're all like, oh my God. So Kevin goes, I'll go over there. So Kevin goes inside. I'm like, Kevin! I'm so scared. So then they come out, and you guys are both like, do it. And I go, okay. I run through the door. I cannot express to you, there is no, you know how like AMC stock plummeted?
Yeah.
That is what my emotions did. I went from like, my buddies are the worst people. I was so scared. And I remember I ran inside and turned around, and you grabbed me and you're like, let's go to the back. I was like, Kevin.
I ran inside behind
all I was doing is looking for anything that looks like a camera. I'm like, well, I'm going to prison. I remember so scared.
I go, let's steal something.
Yes. You said that. I'm like, what are we doing?
I was like, take that laptop.
And then he goes, look, they love our podcast.
Yeah,
and I was
sticker,
like,
close calls is my laptop.
Yes. And I was like, you son of a bitch. Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, so you guys, that's what's cool about you guys is you do that. And another thing that you do is Kevin has this very innate ability to do that thing where like you ever see someone like he could make friends. Like there's stories about like Jim Belushi would just like they'd find him at someone's house, they fed him, and he spent the night. I believe that you could do that because we were at the City Museum. It's a place in St. Louis, but next to it they have like you go through a curtain, people get married and have like their wedding reception there. We are dressed regular, not in suits or whatever, and we see the curtain, and Kevin goes, I'm going to go in there, and we laugh, and he goes in the curtain, and I think he's going to come right back out. We wait, and we open it up, and I swear to God, you had fucking food in your hand.
Yeah.
And you were in line to talk to the fucking bride, dude. You were about to take the garter off her leg. I was like, what the we started standing in line saying hi to people. This girl was like,
you
knew me,
into somebody you knew.
someone I worked with or whatever, and she goes, what are you doing here? I was like, oh, my buddy Kevin got us in there. But that shit's so fun. I snuck my buddies into a Justin Timberlake concert once because we did a show, and I was like, why did no one come? They go, maybe there's a Justin Timberlake concert. And I snuck us into there. And there's nothing more fun than doing that. But you are really, really good at that. It's like such a fun ass thing. And but again, to go back, it's just cool that you and Jenny have that together.
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
I love my girlfriend.
Yeah, dude. Dude, I love that you love your girlfriend. And I love that you guys let me stay over here whenever I come and hang out.
Hell yeah, dude. Cancel your show in Philly.
Okay. And then what?
That's all I got. We'll
Should we
find
go-
some weddings.
Can we go arm wrestle everyone in the city?
We'll go to Pumps and arm wrestle some strippers.
Okay. We'll see you at Pumps. All right, that's it. That's the pod. Check out Kevin Casey White. Where can they find you?
At Kevin Casey White on socials, and that's it for now. Keep an eye out for the special.
Listen to his podcast.
Oh, Close
Check out
Calls.
the special.
Close Calls podcast.
Close Calls podcast.
Yeah.
Check out his special. Follow him. Come see us all on the road. We all have so much fun doing this. Follow your dreams. I love you. Bye.
Bye.
Let's go.